Hello, everyone. It's the Sky Priestess, and welcome to my 400th YouTube video. I realize it's been a while. I've been very, very busy these past few weeks, and I just wanted to touch base, share a couple of important announcements, also give you a quick heads up of what I've been working on, and also invite you to some events that are upcoming. Now, as you know, the past few weeks I have been focused almost entirely on the situation in Tigray, Ethiopia. I've been networking and developing relationships with Tigrayan activist groups and getting to know them and them also getting to know me to the point that, with great humility, I am happy to accept the invitation that has been extended to me to extend my services to these activist spaces. So I would, to that effect, I will be conducting public facilitations for Tigrayans. First facilitation is tomorrow, Sunday, 9 p.m. Swedish time, which is GMT plus 2. That's 2 hours from GMT ahead. And in this first facilitation, I'm going to be dealing with those who have endured the genocidal patterns of rape upon their bodies as part of this. It's not a war, it's really a genocide in Tigray. And there's no other way of putting it. This goes well past what people can imagine barbarity can look like. And what's been circulated in the public domain, as I heard from an activist today, is nowhere near the horrors of what is actually happening there. So that is what my first public work on this will be. That is going to be tomorrow, and those of you interested can join in via the Twitter space where this will be happening. I've also got permission to live stream it for the benefit of those on this channel, but please bear in mind the focus will be on Tigrayans. The second is going to be an offering for Tigrayan activists who are members of the diaspora. You have to understand that it is a very, very difficult thing, an unimaginable thing to not have any contact or knowledge of your loved ones for a year. And with that daily uncertainty, that daily not knowing, that brings up an incredible host of physical, psychological, and spiritual issues that activists are also facing at this time. And so that is going to be the second public offering that I will be doing. So this is all going to be happening within a week. There's been a lot of work, a lot of preliminary discussions put into this. So this is what I have been working on. Now, I know there are some of you who are like, well, why isn't she doing the astrology? Well, astrology has not really been the central focus of my work for a long time. It has been activism, it has been spirituality, and it has been the meeting point of the two. There is no point in understanding the heavens if we are not able to listen to what is actually being said. And what is being said right now is the requirement to step up and to do what each of us individually can for these situations in our world that are deeply, deeply distressing. My focus has been on Tigray simply as it is the world's largest ongoing genocide and it has not yet received the help that it requires. Only now, with the recent publication of the Amnesty and Human Rights Watch joint report, are people even beginning to say the name and recognize that things have been happening unbeknownst to the world for an entire year. You can imagine the amount of trauma, the amount of the dire and desperate need of spiritual facilitation there. And, to be honest, no one has actually even offered or thought of offering the services to Tigrayans. I saw someone say something one day, and I basically said, hey, I can do this. I can help. Do you want some help? Let me know. And they said yes. So this is what I have been working towards. I do want to especially thank my Tier 23 members and those of you who have continued purchasing sessions from me. And I have obviously been working at the same time because that allows me to do this activist work. I mean, I don't like shaming people for not contributing because a lot of you don't have that much to contribute, and that's fine. Some of you do and you don't, but that's between you and spirit. But those of you who have, and those of you who can, who have supported me through this time period, I am deeply grateful to all of you to facilitate my walking of the path. I am also deeply touched by those of you who have chosen to also take up the call and are in your own capacities, either raising funds, or you are writing in, or you are doing something to raise awareness and consciousness of this gravest travesty against human rights. And whilst the world is focused on the Ukraine right now, and rightly so, there is absolutely no reason that it cannot also advocate for Tigray. Just because they're black doesn't mean that their lives matter any less. So, this is the first part of the announcements. The first public facilitation is tomorrow. As soon as I get the link to the Twitter space, I'll be sharing it with you in the little community page where you get notifications, and you can join in tomorrow. But remember, the focus will be Tigray. The second public facilitation will be for diaspora activists later in the week. And they're going to be fairly big events in terms of the energies and the requirement to actually hold the space for all of that to be done. Now, having said that, this is my 400th video on YouTube, and it is a milestone in many ways. I have been thinking about my journey for the past 8 years and how it has changed over time, and the kinds of people who have entered my life, who have left my life, and the kinds of drama that I have seen in the process. In fact, today I had this absolutely lovely lady decide to accuse me of one of the most heinous crimes I can think of, and then, because she couldn't find any way to insult me, decided to try and insult my child instead. And that's how I knew, Bhairavi, you are stepping up. You are doing something that whatever energy is out there that dislike you don't want you to do. And this is what I have seen. This is what I have seen. Even within this community, there are people who are failing to do their work. Either they believe they are ascended, or they believe that they are beyond reproach and beyond the need to come back to the core truth of practice. That is courage, that is humility, that is working with honesty from the heart to do something of meaning in this world while we are here. That doesn't mean that you have to go and fight for a cause thousands of miles away from you. That is bringing that heart centered focus to what is immediately around you, to the people in your life, whether they are physical people or virtual people. It is about doing what you can as a human being to raise consciousness, not by talking, but by being, because that is the form of spiritual doing. And in these, is it 8 years or is it longer? I think it is 8 years, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it's actually going to be 9 years this year, actually. I'll have to look at the exact date. I think it'll be 9 years in September. But in it right now, it's still eight. In the 8 years that I have been doing this work, I have just seen so many people come and so many people go, and some people actually return, finally realizing that, yeah, this woman is telling me something that actually resonates with my soul. And even if it bruises my ego in the short term, I might probably want to see what she's talking about. So that has generated a core community that I am very deeply grateful for. And the dog outside agrees. But yes, as you can see, I am doing good work in the world, doing my best. I'll try to spend a little bit more time, but I have been focusing my emotions, my energy on this cause because the time is critical. 7 million people will literally die within the next few weeks if nothing is done. And I don't know about you, but I can't sleep at night not knowing that I did not try my level best to do what I can do as an individual. So yeah, this is what has been going on. Obviously, there are things happening in the skies. There are always things happening in the sky. These days, I don't even look at it and I just basically get on with life. And if there's something that comes up, then I look going, oh, okay, cool, cool, that makes sense. But effectively, right now is a time where all of us need to be aligned to truth. All of us need to be walking that path towards whatever it is that brings us in greater harmony and in greater alignment with spirit. And I believe in walking the talk. I believe in leading by example. Not all of you are going to be as drawn to this particular cause as I am, but you don't need to be. You need to be focused on what is true to you. But when you feel the need to step out of your lane, to go and try to berate, to go and try to criticize, to try and tear down someone who doesn't see the world the way that you do, you might want to get back in your own lane and look at your practice once more. Because that's not activism. That's not helpful. That's just trolling people. But what I have seen in this time is that where there is sustained intention and collective focus, changes are happening. And there is also a lot of resistance, a lot of backlash. As I have said before, what is happening in Tigray is effectively a spiritual war for the heart of the mother frequency on this planet. And frankly, I am shocked that more spiritualists are not taking this into account or consideration. But that is their path. Eventually, it's going to hit them if nothing is done. But what I want all of you to think about is what you can do as individuals in the here and now, stepping up in your power with your strength, not allowing anyone to tear you down, and doing what is real, what is raw, what is authentic, and what is truthful, even if people don't like it. The more confident I am, see, there's a difference between two things. Confidence is one thing, arrogance is another. True humility is one thing, false humility is another. I don't do false humility. At the end of the day, I surrender my work to God, who is beyond all negativity, and for me, beyond all ideas of gender. And that is who I answer to at the end of the day. And you know what? That scares the living shit out of people. How dare you, large brown woman, challenge me on my pedestal? How dare you say something that does not give me the comfort of my illusions and my importance in the world? How dare you have that sense of assuredness but openness that allows you to be a voice that others will actually say, hey, she's got something to say? And obviously, this isn't just about brown women, though the inauguration of Justice Jackson is certainly, it's no surprise it's happening at this time. But this is a time where we need to stand up and speak for those who need the most help. And if that is ourselves, that's fine. But be very, very sure that you are championing a cause that comes from the heart. There is a difference between wanting to make yourself a martyr for unprocessed trauma, and there is a difference between going into something because it is truly aligned with who you are in the here and the now. And after what I have been seeing and the reports that I have been reading, you really should look up that amnesty report. There is no more room for babbling around. Now we are just in this month of April. Once April 14 hits, we're going to already be in the build up to eclipse season. And then there's going to be 6 lovely weeks of intense transformation after that. But right now we need to really get clear, streamlined. Where's your focus? Who are you? How are you defined by where you choose to put your energy? We are also seeing major activations with Jupiter and Neptune in the South Node. This is a time where people are going to be faced with a lot of their karmic baggages, be it from their own past lives, or be it from their ancestry, or be it to do with sexuality and intimacy, and they're going to be blurring it up with the spiritual domain. If you have not to say fully processed, because everyone is a work in progress, but if you have not fully dealt with the immediate ramifications of trauma, this is a time where you need to step back and away from any kind of spiritual facilitation, because people are also very, very vulnerable at this time. The work that I'm going to do for these Tigrayan groups is work that I have been planning and preparing for since November 2020. So this has been a long, long, long time in the works, and I am grateful and humbled and absolutely, I know I can feel the weight of that responsibility, because literally these individuals are the most vulnerable in the world right now. They have nowhere to go. They can be killed at any moment, they can be gang raped at any moment, and they have no food. So this is something I take very seriously. But as I said, these events will also be live streamed, so you will be able to see them. And whilst they will not exactly pertain to you, some aspect of it will, because we are all at a subtle level truly interconnected. Having said all of that, this is, I know, the 400th video, and I should be going, yay, thank you, fans, but I can't really do that right now. I can't really do that right now. I can tell you that I did see two eagles today, which makes me very happy. I can tell you that the girls are fine. They are, well, mostly fine. A little bit of health issues here and there, but they are mostly fine. My brother is well. And yeah, I can just tell you that I'm doing the best that I humanly can. And that's about it. Those are my updates, those are my announcements, those are my general prescriptions for this time. And I also just want to say thank you to everybody because this community wouldn't exist without the people in it. I know that this is going to be a very challenging time for people. I know that. And I actually read this quote by Denzel Washington today. I really like that man. It's like you were 20 years younger. But anyway, so he said, that, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but he had a beautiful way of saying it. He said, some people just are never going to like you because your spirit irritates their demons. And that's very much the energy of the present right now. You know, the more we stand in ourselves, the more resistance we are going to see because people have gone down two different roads. One is a road that leads to deeper spiritual alignment, and another is a road that leads to delusion. But which road you are on depends on what perspective you are on. The person who says, the grass is blue, and the person who says the ocean is green are both going to think that they are the most right people in the world. And maybe in some circumstances they are, but maybe they are not most of the time. So this is what it is right now. But no matter what, keep focusing on your best understanding of the truth. If you find yourself needing to resort to ad hominems, if you find yourself needing to try and invalidate or project or basically bully someone because they didn't agree with you or insult their family, then please know that you are more than likely to need your head checked. That's pretty much all I can say about that. So, having said all of that, are there any questions that anyone would like to ask at this time? I'm going to open the space for some questions at this moment. I know you haven't seen me in a while, but believe me, working with these energies is like going into a battleground every day. So, um, so let's open the floor for some questions on what has been said or any other general sentiments that need to be shared at this time. So, opening the floor to all of you and just gonna take a step back and listen. But in the meantime, whilst people are thinking of questions, I'm going to say hi to everybody. So, hello, Adrienne. Hello, Coyote Prophet. Hello, brother. Hello, Nacha Libre. Hello, Ray. Hello, Krishna Varma. Hello, Auntie Sue. Hello, Angela Cohen Green. Hello, the Red Goddess Tarot. Coyote Prophet asks, what would be the best practices for one to partake in to help them navigate the upcoming energies? There's a one and there's a them. Are you referring to the same person or are you referring to a particular group? Could you specify who the subject is in your query? Okay, hello roses and bees. Hello Candy. Good to see the flock. I don't want to say tribe because I know where the word tribe came from, but pod sounds a bit weird. Coyote Prophet means individuals like myself. Gotcha. Okay. So one of the best things that you can do to navigate the energies right now, and I know this is very similar to what I always say, but spirituality is goddamn simple if you boil it down. So basically, take a step back and look at what triggers are coming up for you right now. Whether that trigger is coming through a person whether that's coming through something on the internet, whether it's coming through a piece of technology, whether it's a memory. What are things that just keep trying to come into your consciousness at this time? What are things that are particularly irritating you or annoying you or trying to make you feel upset or trying to push you out of peace? That is what you need to be focused on right now. Because if you can handle the triggers, you can also handle the benevolent energies that are coming in. Because these triggers are trapdoors. And Tereus in the sky is going to be doing a fair amount of activations. Right now, I believe it's opposite Venus. So basically, this is a time where we need to be looking at those backdoor accesses. The energy is just flowing through, the energy is just moving in. And what we need to do is to just keep it clean. That's why you need to look at the way energy flows through you and around you. And that's why you need to observe first. So that's my answer to your question, and I hope that helps. Ray says, thank you for leading this community. I appreciate your encouragement and doing the work very much. Ray's probably not going to like me saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I have been very impressed with Ray's dedication to help the people of Tigray, and they've really pushed through in getting the matter heard in some very large circles. So thank you, Ray. Hello, Matt Titan. Nacha Libre asks, is now a good time to do ancestral healing work? I've been feeling called to do that lately. You can, but it's kind of like asking me, it's cyclone season. Is this a good time to go sailing on my yacht? The answer is you can. And it might be very tempting to look at the waves and think, ah, this is going to be an exciting time. But the question for me is, should you rather than can you? So you can do this, but bear in mind there will be a floodgate of energy coming through. If you feel that you can manage all of this, then go right ahead. But if you feel like it's going to be just too much, then best stay away from it for now, at the very least. The Jupiter Neptune conjunction, I believe that's between April 12th, April 13th. You're going to be seeing Jupiter Neptune conjunct. We're also going to be seeing them activate the south nodes. So there's just going to be this huge wave of old energy coming up. So, you can, but just bear in mind there's going to be a floodgate that opens through that. Amma Spirit Artist says, I want a suggestion for the best group to donate money to help the Tigray people. I asked my Ethiopian friend and she couldn't tell me. This is a great question, and I have also been looking for answers. Now, there are so many people who claim that, they're doing this and they're doing that, but you really need to vet to make sure the money goes through. So the people who are getting things through are having to go through black market channels. So, and if you send the family $1,000, they take 500 of it. There are NGOs, on the other hand, that are able to help, but they are more so operating in Sudan, where there's about 66,000 people 63,000, I think, 63,000 displaced Tigrayan refugees. Now, I am still sourcing and trying to get proper information because I don't want, I know that this is a very generous community and I do not want you guys to be sending money to places where you don't know what it's being used for. So I'm also looking for those same answers. And when I know, I will let you know as well, or rather, I'll let the community know. Coyote Prophet says, thank you. You're most welcome. Thank you for the question. Ray sends a rainbow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Any other questions that you'd like to address at this time? And if there are no questions, that's totally fine. Oh, Coyote has a as a another question. Go for it. Yes, he says good morning. Good morning, Yessie. Oh. Okay, so I'm guessing you're asking when or how does Lilith play into the upcoming energies coming up? Well, right now, it depends on which Lilith you mean. I'm going to assume you mean Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith is currently at, I think right now she's already either at or very close to 29 degrees of Gemini. Lilith is about to enter Cancer very soon. So Lilith's energies are, well, Lilith's energies right now in Gemini are very much dealing with the shadow of doublespeak, the shadow of lies, the shadow of, representing yourself in a certain light, but not really having the integrity of following through. It's Lilith in Gemini is also bringing up the difficulty in really hearing the voices of those who need to be heard. And at the same time, it does provide an opportunity for people who have legitimate concerns to finally be seen. So, but there is a kind of like a duality with that process. What I find interesting is that Black Moon Lilith is trined Haumea. Haumea is the mother of Pele. Haumea is at 29 degrees of Libra. And to me, I would say basically to work with Lilith, listen to what the earth has to say right now, look at indigenous protectors, look at look at indigenous protectors, look at women and those who identify as female who are standing up to protect the natural world at this time, and look at that very sacred connection between the feminine and nature herself, or themselves, I should say, because nature's probably also all genders and none as well. But effectively, that's the biggest activation that I would see right now with Black Moon Lilith and the energies of the planet at this time. If you have anything near 29 degrees of Aquarius, that would of course be a grand trine. So, Nacha says, I found a group called ICRC that does relief work, but I've not fully vetted them. I have heard mixed reviews on ICRC, um, especially because they've been doing some weird stuff with Russia. I wouldn't go there from what I have seen so far. It does not seem to be having a very good reputation in this situation. But that's my opinion. You can also, do your own research. But as I said, I'm working very closely with Tigrayan activists and organizers, and I've also asked them to send me some organizations that I can safely suggest to you. So, bear with me on this. But in the meantime, please continue writing your letters of support to your representatives. The respective bills have not yet been, passed in either house of the U.S. legislature. Right now, rather than the UN, the U.S. seems to have the biggest chance in actually ensuring that there is some accountability for human rights violations in Ethiopia at the minute. So I would say keep doing that if you can. Keep raising the voices for this cause and your community groups, your religious organizations, your town meetings. Every little helps. Um, Adrienne says, my son is a 29 Libra. Interesting. Well, I hope you are spending time connecting with the earth. So, do we have any? Oh, hi, Jesse. Nice to see you. So, do we have any further questions before I head off? Just giving a bit of space, bit of room for peeps. And if you've just joined, you might want to go back to the beginning where I talk about two very, very special announcements for two very special programs that I have been, that I have the privilege of facilitating for the people in Tigray. Do go back to the beginning to get information on that. And I'm just waiting for people to ask any questions before I head off. Yes, he says, just take care of yourself. We appreciate you as you are. Thank you so much. I am doing my best to do that too. You'll be happy to hear. Trying to eat better and, drink more fluids. Things are stupid expensive in Malaysia now. Food prices have just gone up, and I don't yet have the the health yet to, go back to cooking and so on. So, but we are doing our best. We are making do with what we can. And yeah, just trying, just trying. There was something I wanted to say. Let me see if I can remember it. Um, Just, oh, I did watch the latest season of Cobra Kai for relaxation. That was fun. That's on Netflix. Um, I must say, sending you love. Thank you very much. So yeah, I send all of you much love and very many blessings. And I hope that all is well in your world and that you keep doing something aligned, beautiful, courageous, and creative in your world in whatever way that you see fit. Lots of love. Ciao, ciao for now. Bye bye.